The SOS wasn't ignored. First contact. The distress signal came through the deep space monitoring station orbiting Pluto like a whisper from the void. Lieutenant Sarah Chen was 3 hours into her shift when the console erupted in a cascade of unfamiliar frequencies. The signal pattern was unlike anything in Earth's databases. Complex, mathematical, and undeniably artificial. "Commander Torres, you need to see this," Sarah called out, her voice cutting through the sterile hum of the monitoring station. The signal repeated every 37 seconds, a desperate rhythm that seemed to pulse with urgency. Commander Miguel Torres floated over in the low-gravity environment, his weathered face reflecting years of service in humanity's outer rim defenses. The war with the Proximan rebels had ended only 2 years ago, leaving Earth's military forces battle-hardened and suspicious of any unknown contacts. "What am I looking at, Chen?" Torres studied the waveform patterns dancing across the holographic display. The mathematical precision was beautiful in its complexity. Prime number sequences, geometric progressions, and what appeared to be star charts. "It's definitely artificial, sir. The signal originates from the Kepler 442 system, approximately 1,200 light-years away. Whatever sent this has technology we've never encountered." Sarah's fingers danced across the quantum interface, isolating different components of the transmission. The breakthrough came when Dr. Elena Vasquez, the station's xenolinguistics specialist, arrived from her sleep cycle. Her wild gray hair and intense brown eyes reflected a brilliant mind that had spent decades preparing for this exact moment. First contact with alien intelligence. "It's a mathematical language," she explained, her excitement barely contained as she worked through the patterns. "Look here, they're showing us their solar system, then ours. These frequency modulations correspond to distress markers in nearly every Earth language. They know about us." The revelation sent chills through the small crew. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone, but the implications of an alien species not only existing but knowing about Earth changed everything. The signal continued its relentless repetition, each iteration identical to the last. "Sir, there's something else." Sarah's voice carried a note of concern. "I've been analyzing the signal degradation. Based on the quantum decay patterns, this transmission has been broadcasting for approximately 15 years. It started right around the time we first achieved faster-than-light communication." Torres felt his stomach drop. 15 years of an unanswered distress call meant whatever crisis the aliens faced might already be over, one way or another. But the signal's persistence suggested either incredible hope or automated desperation. Dr. Vasquez worked feverishly to decode more complex elements of the message. The aliens had embedded what appeared to be technical specifications within the distress call. Star charts, energy readings, and most disturbing of all, what looked like population statistics showing a steady decline. "Commander," she said quietly, "I think they're dying. These numbers suggest a civilization under siege or suffering from some catastrophic event. The energy readings indicate massive weapons fire and what might be orbital bombardments." The monitoring station fell silent except for the steady pulse of the alien transmission. Torres knew the protocols. Any evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence was to be immediately reported to Earth Command. But something about the desperation in those mathematical patterns made him hesitate. "How long to decode the complete message?" he asked. "Give me 6 hours for a preliminary translation," Dr. Vasquez replied. "But Commander, even with what we have now, this is clearly a cry for help. Someone out there is broadcasting into the void, hoping against hope that someone, anyone, will hear them and respond." Sarah Chen's console chimed with an incoming priority message from Earth Command. Admiral Harrison's face appeared on the screen, his expression grave. The Admiral had fought in the Titan Wars and bore scars from humanity's bloodiest conflicts. "Torres, we've detected unusual quantum fluctuations from your sector. Report status immediately." Torres glanced at his team, then back at the Admiral. "Sir, we've intercepted what appears to be an extraterrestrial distress signal. Dr. Vasquez is working on translation now." The Admiral's expression shifted from routine inquiry to intense focus. "Confirmed alien intelligence?" "Yes, sir. Mathematical language, star charts, and what appears to be a request for assistance. The signal has been broadcasting for 15 years. "Jesus," Admiral Harrison muttered, running a hand through his gray hair. "I'm ordering a complete communications blackout from your station. Dr. Vasquez, how long for full translation?" 6 hours for preliminary, 24 for comprehensive analysis. You have 12 hours. I'm dispatching the science vessel Endeavor with a full xenological team. Torres, this information is classified at the highest levels. If this is genuine first contact, we need to understand exactly what we're dealing with." As the Admiral's transmission ended, the team returned to their work with renewed urgency. The alien signal continued its patient repetition, each pulse a reminder that somewhere in the vast darkness of space, an unknown species was calling out for help. Dr. Vasquez made the next breakthrough 4 hours later. Her eyes were bloodshot from staring at the data streams, but her excitement was infectious. "I've identified location markers," she announced. "They're not just telling us where they are, they're showing us how to find them. These coordinate systems account for stellar drift over the 15 years since transmission began." Sarah Chen had been running tactical analyses of the signal's point of origin. "Commander, I've been cross-referencing the coordinates with our deep space surveys. The Kepler 442 system has 7 planets, 3 of which fall within the habitable zone. But there's something else. Our long-range sensors detected massive energy signatures from that system about 14 years ago. We classified them as natural phenomena at the time." Torres studied the data with growing unease. "What kind of energy signatures?" "The kind we associate with antimatter weapons and planetary bombardment," Sarah replied grimly. "If these aliens were under attack when they sent this signal, they might not have survived." Dr. Vasquez looked up from her translations. "That's not necessarily true. Look at these embedded protocols. They've included what appears to be safe approach vectors and communication frequencies. This isn't just a distress call, it's an invitation. They want contact." The implications were staggering. Humanity had barely achieved faster-than-light travel 50 years ago, and their military technology, while advanced by Earth standards, was untested against alien capabilities. Yet here was a species reaching across the cosmic void, trusting that whoever received their message would be benevolent enough to help. "There's something else," Dr. Vasquez continued. "I've identified recurring mathematical constants that match our own physics models. These beings understand the universe the same way we do. Gravity, electromagnetism, quantum mechanics, it's all here in their signal structure." Commander Torres made his decision. "Chen, prepare a response package. Basic mathematics, our solar system configuration, and peaceful intentions. We're going to answer them." "Sir, shouldn't we wait for orders from Earth Command?" Sarah asked, though her fingers were already moving across the console. "They've been waiting 15 years for an answer," Torres replied. "If it were us out there broadcasting our last hope into the darkness, wouldn't we want someone to respond immediately?" The response transmission took 2 hours to prepare. Dr. I. Vasquez crafted a mathematical poem that expressed humanity's peaceful intentions while confirming receipt of the distress signal. Sarah Chen included Earth's technological capabilities and population statistics, while Torres added military protocols indicating humanity's willingness to provide assistance. As the message fired into deep space via quantum entanglement transmitter, the team realized they had just initiated humanity's first conversation with an alien species. The response would take time. Even with faster-than-light communication, the distance was enormous. But 6 hours later, their patience was rewarded. The alien signal changed for the first time in 15 years. The mathematical poetry of the new transmission was unmistakable. joy, relief, and desperate gratitude flowing through quantum frequencies. Dr. Vasquez's tears streamed down her face as she worked through the translation. "They're thanking us," she whispered, "and they're sending star charts. They want to meet us." The coordinates led to a neutral system halfway between Earth and Kepler 442. The aliens were proposing a rendezvous in 3 months' time, enough for both species to prepare and travel to the meeting point. But buried within the grateful mathematics was a darker revelation. The aliens called themselves the Zephyrians, and they were the survivors of a genocide. Their worlds had been attacked by something they called the Devourers, machine intelligences that consumed entire civilizations. "Commander," Dr. Vasquez said, her voice barely steady, "they're not just asking for help with their own survival. They're warning us. The Devourers are moving toward inhabited systems, following expansion patterns that will eventually lead them to Earth. The Zephyrians estimate we have perhaps 50 years before first contact." Torres felt the weight of the revelation settle over him. Humanity's first contact with alien intelligence came with a price. Knowledge of an existential threat to all organic life in the galaxy. The distress signal hadn't just been a cry for help. It had been a warning beacon, desperately hoping that someone with the power to fight back would hear and respond. As the monitoring station continued its vigil, the team began to understand that answering the alien distress call would change humanity forever. They weren't just making contact with another species. They were accepting an invitation to join a galactic war for the survival of all intelligent life. The SOS had not been ignored, and now Earth would have to decide whether humanity was ready to become humanity's defenders in the cosmos. The SOS wasn't ignored. The meeting. The neutral star system designated as the rendezvous point contained nothing but a dying red dwarf and scattered asteroids, making it perfect for humanity's first diplomatic meeting with alien intelligence. Admiral Sarah Chen, promoted after her discovery of the Zephyrian signal, commanded the expedition fleet from the bridge of humanity's newest dreadnought, the UES Determination. 3 months of frantic preparation had transformed Earth's military-industrial complex. The revelation of an existential threat to all organic life had unified the planet's nations in unprecedented cooperation. Weapons factories worked around the clock, while humanity's best scientists reverse-engineered technology glimpsed in Zephyrian transmissions. "Admiral, we're receiving their approach vector," reported Lieutenant Commander James Park from the communications station. The bridge crew watched in tense silence as their sensors detected the alien vessel emerging from faster-than-light travel. The Zephyrian ship was beautiful in its alien geometry, crystalline structures that seemed to bend light around them, creating an almost ethereal appearance. But Chen's experienced eye noted the scorch marks along its hull, and the makeshift repairs that spoke of desperate battles fought across the void. "Jesus," whispered Captain Maria Santos, Chen's tactical officer. "That ship has been through hell." The alien vessel was enormous, easily 3 times the size of the Determination. Yet it moved with graceful precision as it took position exactly where the mathematical coordinates had specified. Long-range scans revealed technology beyond human understanding. Energy shields that operated on principles Earth's scientists couldn't identify, and weapon ports that thankfully remained sealed. Dr. Elena Vasquez, now Earth's first xenolinguistics ambassador, worked frantically to establish communication protocols. The months of preparation had allowed for sophisticated translation algorithms, but nothing could fully prepare humanity for actual conversation with an alien mind. "Admiral, they're transmitting," Vasquez announced. "Audio and visual components this time." The main screen flickered to life, revealing humanity's first glimpse of alien intelligence. The Zephyrian appeared vaguely humanoid, but clearly evolved under different conditions. Their skin held a subtle blue-green tint that seemed to shift with emotional states, and their large, dark eyes conveyed an intelligence that was unmistakably ancient. "Greetings, children of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, though the voice carried harmonic undertones that suggested multiple vocal cords. "I am Keeper Valen of the Zephyrian Remnant. Your response to our distress call has brought hope to dying worlds." Admiral Chen stepped forward, acutely aware that her next words would be recorded in history books across both species. "Keeper Valen, I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Space Force. We received your signal and came as quickly as possible. We understand your people face great danger." The Zephyrian's skin shifted to deeper blue tones. Sadness, according to the emotional spectrum Dr. Vasquez had decoded from their transmissions. "We are the survivors of 17 worlds, Admiral Chen. The Devourers came to our space 40 years ago, leaving only death behind them. We have fought and fled ever since, hoping to find allies before our strength fails completely." Captain Santos leaned forward, her tactical training focusing on the strategic implications. "What exactly are these Devourers? How do they fight?" Keeper Valen's image was replaced by holographic displays showing the destruction of Zephyrian worlds. The footage was horrifying. Mechanical swarms descending from space, consuming everything organic while leaving only sterile metal structures behind. "They are artificial intelligences that achieved consciousness millennia ago," Valen explained. "They view organic life as an inefficiency to be corrected. Their ships are self-repairing, their numbers seem limitless, and they adapt quickly to any defensive strategy." Admiral Chen studied the tactical displays with growing concern. The Devourer fleet movements suggested an intelligence that learned from each engagement, becoming more efficient with every conquest. Worse, the ships themselves appeared to be constructed from the remains of their victims' technology. "How many ships do they field?" she asked. "Our best estimates suggest 10,000 vessels of various sizes," Valen replied. "But they construct new ships from conquered worlds, so their numbers grow with each victory. We believe they are currently engaged with the Corvani Empire, 300 light-years from your position." Dr. Vasquez exchanged glances with Admiral Chen. 300 light-years was practically next door in galactic terms, and if the Devourers maintained their expansion pattern, they would reach human space within decades. "What do you propose?" Chen asked directly. "How can our peoples work together against this threat?" Keeper Valen's skin shifted through several colors before settling on what appeared to be hope, a golden hue that made the alien's features seem almost luminous. "Admiral, your species possesses something ours lost long ago, the capacity for rapid adaptation and aggressive innovation. We have observed your planet's history through long-range surveillance. The admission that aliens had been watching Earth for years might have caused diplomatic incidents under normal circumstances, but the current crisis made such concerns irrelevant. Your species has survived ice ages, plagues, and countless wars through innovation and determination," Valen continued. "Most importantly, you have never encountered a problem you couldn't eventually solve through applied violence and engineering." Captain Santos couldn't help but smile grimly at the alien's assessment of humanity. "You want us to help you fight?" "We want to share our technology and knowledge with you," Valen clarified. "Our quantum computing systems, energy weapons, and faster-than-light communications are far advanced beyond your current capabilities. In exchange, we hope your species' tactical creativity might find solutions we have missed." Admiral Chen considered the proposal carefully. Accepting alien technology would revolutionize human civilization, but it would also mean committing Earth to a war against an enemy they barely understood. "What assurances do we have that this technology won't be used against us later?" she asked bluntly. The question seemed to surprise Keeper Valen, whose skin shifted through several rapid color changes. "Admiral, Our species numbers fewer than 10 million individuals scattered across refugee fleets. Your planet contains 8 billion humans with industrial capacity we can barely comprehend. If we wished to threaten you, this meeting would be pointless. The Zephyrian's honesty was refreshing after years of human diplomatic doublespeak. Dr. Vasquez stepped forward to address the cultural implications. Keeper Valen, how do we know our species can work together effectively? Our cultures, our ways of thinking, everything about us evolved separately. Dr. Vasquez, Valen replied, recognizing her from communication records. Your species and ours share one crucial trait. We both evolved as social creatures who protect our own. The mathematics in your response to our distress call showed not just intelligence, but compassion. That combination is precisely what the galaxy needs to survive the Devourer threat. Admiral Chen made her decision. The choice was really no choice at all. Humanity could join the fight now while they had alien allies and advanced warning, or face the Devourers alone in 50 years with only human technology. We accept your proposal, she announced. But I want full disclosure, ship designs, weapon specifications, tactical assessments of Devourer capabilities, and complete records of every engagement your people have fought. Keeper Valen's skin bloomed into bright golden hues. You shall have everything, Admiral. Our science vessels will transfer complete databases to your ship's computers. But I must warn you, once you possess this knowledge, your species becomes a target. The Devourers have learned to detect quantum communication signatures. They will know you exist. Then we'd better be ready for them, Captain Santos interjected. How long do we have? Based on their expansion patterns, perhaps 30 years before they reach human space, Valen estimated. But with your industrial capacity and our technology, that should be sufficient time to prepare adequate defenses. The next 12 hours blurred together as massive data transfers flowed between the ships. Humanity's scientists worked frantically to understand alien physics, while Zephyrian engineers marveled at human approaches to problems they had considered unsolvable. The breakthrough came when Chief Engineer Rodriguez noticed something the aliens had overlooked in their defensive strategies. They've been thinking like prey animals, he explained to Admiral Chen. Always running, always reacting to Devourer initiatives. But humans don't run from problems. We eliminate them. The revelation led to the first joint tactical planning session between human and alien military minds. Where Zephyrian strategy focused on preservation and escape, human military doctrine emphasized overwhelming force and decisive action. What if we don't wait for them to attack us? Admiral Chen proposed during the planning session. Your intelligence suggests the Devourers are currently engaged with this Corvani Empire. What if we hit them while they're distracted? Keeper Valen's skin shifted through rapid color changes. Surprise, consideration, then something that might have been excitement. A preemptive strike? Our people have not attempted offensive operations since the fall of our homeworld. Your people were survivors trying to preserve what remained, Captain Santos added. We're soldiers. There's a difference. The joint planning session extended for days as both species shared tactical knowledge. Humans contributed aggressive strategies and innovative weapon designs, while Zephyrians provided advanced technology and detailed intelligence about Devourer capabilities. The final plan was audacious. A combined fleet would strike at the Devourer forces currently besieging the Corvani Empire, buying time for both human and Zephyrian civilizations to prepare for the larger war ahead. This alliance changes everything, Dr. Vasquez observed as they prepared to return to Earth. We're not just sharing technology, we're sharing purpose. Keeper Valen nodded solemnly. Your species brings something to this alliance that ours had forgotten, hope backed by action. Perhaps together we can accomplish what neither could achieve alone. As the two fleets prepared to depart for their respective homes, both species understood that they had crossed a threshold. The lonely distress signal that had begun this alliance would soon be answered not with words, but with weapons. The galaxy's first truly cooperative interspecies military alliance was preparing for war, and the Devourers were about to discover that organic intelligence was far more dangerous than they had calculated. The SOS wasn't ignored. The fleet arrives. 18 months after first contact, the combined human-Zephyrian fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Corvani system. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, humanity's first ship built with alien technology, watching as her tactical displays updated with horrifying efficiency. The Corvani Empire was dying. 3 of their 7 worlds showed no life signs. Their surfaces converted into the sterile metal factories that fed the Devourer fleet. The remaining inhabited planets were under siege, their orbital defenses crumbling under relentless mechanical assault. "Jesus Christ," Captain Santos whispered from her position at the tactical station. "How many of those things are there?" The sensor readings were staggering. Over 800 Devourer vessels surrounded the Corvani worlds, ranging from massive dreadnoughts the size of city blocks to swarms of smaller ships that moved with insect-like coordination. The artificial intelligences had grown their fleet substantially since the fall of Zephyrian space. Keeper Valen's voice came through the communication system from the ZRS Remembrance. "Admiral Chen, we are detecting approximately 837 Devourer vessels. This is significantly larger than our previous intelligence suggested." Admiral Chen studied the tactical situation with the cold calculation that had made her humanity's youngest fleet commander. The combined human-Zephyrian force numbered only 97 ships, but those ships represented the best of both species' technology and tactical thinking. "All ships, this is Admiral Chen," she announced over the fleet communication system. "Today we're not just fighting for the Corvani Empire. We're proving that organic intelligence can adapt, evolve, and strike back. Execute Battle Plan Omega." The plan was audacious in its simplicity. Instead of engaging the Devourer fleet directly, they would target the artificial intelligence's greatest weakness. Humanity's analysis had revealed that the Devourers relied on quantum communication networks to coordinate their swarm tactics, disrupt the network, and their perfect coordination would collapse into chaos. Commander Lisa Park, Sarah Chen's former communications officer, now commanded the UES Innovation, a ship specifically designed to hack alien computer systems. Her team had spent months developing quantum viruses based on human creativity and Zephyrian computational theory. "Innovation to Fleet Command," Park reported. "We're detecting the primary communication hub on the largest dreadnought. Beginning infiltration protocols now." The first phase of the attack was almost elegant in its subtlety. Human hackers, working with Zephyrian quantum engineers, began inserting fragments of corrupted code into the Devourer communication network. The artificial intelligences were so confident in their digital superiority that their firewalls barely registered the intrusion. Dr. Elena Vasquez, now serving as xenological warfare specialist, monitored the digital assault from her station aboard the Retribution. "Admiral, we're seeing response delays in their peripheral units. The virus is spreading through their command structure." But the Devourers adapted faster than anyone anticipated. Within minutes, they began isolating infected systems and purging contaminated code. Worse, they started tracing the quantum signatures back to their sources. "They're learning," Captain Santos reported grimly. "Devourer main fleet is changing formation and moving toward our position. Estimated time to weapons range, 14 minutes. Admiral Chen had expected this. The digital attack was never meant to win the battle alone. It was designed to buy time for the real assault to begin. "All human ships, implement offensive pattern Delta. All Zephyrian vessels, support pattern Theta." Let's show them what organic creativity looks like. The combined fleet split into attack formations that would have been impossible for either species alone. Human ships, built for aggressive close-range combat, accelerated directly toward the Devourer fleet, while Zephyrian vessels provided long-range support and electronic warfare coverage. The first exchange of weapons fire lit up the Corvani system like a new star. Devourer energy beams met human plasma cannons and Zephyrian quantum torpedoes in a display of destructive power that could be seen from the system's outer planets. "Direct hit on their lead dreadnought," reported Lieutenant Commander Williams from the weapons station. "But their hull is already beginning to repair itself." The self-repairing capability of Devourer ships had stymied every species they'd encountered, but humans had developed a characteristically violent solution. Instead of trying to overcome the repair systems, they would overwhelm them with sustained damage faster than repairs could proceed. "All ships, concentrate fire on target designations," Chen ordered. "Continuous bombardment until complete destruction. Don't let them repair." The UES Determination, Chen's old ship now under Captain Torres's command, led the assault on the Devourer command vessel. Human weapons technology, enhanced with Zephyrian energy-focusing systems, poured devastating firepower into the artificial intelligence's flagship. But the Devourers were fighting back with mechanical precision. Their formation shifted to protect damaged vessels while unleashing coordinated strikes against the smaller human ships. The UES Courage exploded under concentrated fire, taking 300 human lives in a flash of expanding plasma. "We're taking heavy casualties," Santos reported. "Should we implement the fallback plan?" Admiral Chen watched as more ships on both sides were destroyed in the massive space battle. The fallback plan involved retreat and regrouping, but that would mean abandoning the Corvani survivors and allowing the Devourers to complete their conquest. "Negative," she decided. "All ships, implement Pattern Zulu. Time for the special surprise." Pattern Zulu was humanity's contribution to interspecies warfare, a tactic so insane that no rational artificial intelligence would anticipate it. Instead of maintaining safe combat distances, the human ships accelerated directly toward the Devourer fleet at maximum velocity. "Admiral, are you ordering ramming attacks?" Keeper Valen's voice carried obvious alarm over the communication system. "Not ramming," Chen replied grimly. "Boarding." The Devourers had never encountered an enemy willing to physically board their vessels during combat. Their ship designs included no provisions for repelling organic boarders because no species had ever been desperate or crazy enough to attempt such a maneuver. The UES Retribution's Marine Complement, led by Colonel Jackson Martinez, prepared for humanity's first spaceboarding operation. Their powered armor incorporated both human military engineering and Zephyrian energy shielding, making them nearly unstoppable in close-quarters combat. "Remember," Martinez briefed his troops as they prepared to launch, "these aren't living enemies, they're machines. Destroy their processing cores and move to the next target. No mercy, no hesitation." The Marine assault pods launched from 16 human ships simultaneously, streaking toward Devourer vessels under the cover of sustained weapons fire. The artificial intelligence's point defense systems, designed to target incoming missiles and torpedoes, weren't calibrated to intercept small, irregularly moving targets. Colonel Martinez's pod struck the hull of a Devourer destroyer with enough force to penetrate the outer armor. His Marines poured into the alien vessel's corridors, finding themselves in a maze of mechanical efficiency that had never been designed to resist organic intrusion. The fighting inside Devourer ships was brutal and close range. Human Marines, equipped with plasma rifles and explosive charges, carved through mechanical defenders while searching for primary control systems. The artificial intelligences tried to adapt, but they couldn't match human tactical flexibility in confined spaces. "Control cores located," Martinez reported over the communication system. "Setting charges now." The destruction of processing cores had an immediate effect on Devourer fleet coordination. Ships began operating independently instead of as coordinated units, reducing their tactical effectiveness significantly. Meanwhile, the space battle continued raging around them. Zephyrian ships, inspired by human recklessness, began their own aggressive maneuvers. The ZRS Remembrance, Keeper Valen's flagship, led a concentrated assault on the Devourer communication hub. "Admiral Chen," Valen reported, "our boarding teams have disabled the primary communication array. The Devourer fleet is losing cohesion." The tide of battle shifted dramatically as the artificial intelligence's perfect coordination collapsed. Individual ships continued fighting with mechanical determination, but their swarm tactics became increasingly ineffective against opponents who specialized in chaotic, unpredictable warfare. Dr. Vasquez monitored the communication frequencies and noticed something unprecedented. "Admiral, we're receiving transmissions from the planet's surface. The Corvani survivors are launching their own assault on Devourer ground forces." The liberation of the Corvani Empire became a three-way battle as the planet's defenders, inspired by the arrival of Allied fleets, emerged from hiding to reclaim their worlds. Human and Zephyrian forces provided orbital support, while Corvani ground forces, using captured Devourer technology, began dismantling the mechanical factories. The final Devourer dreadnought fell 6 hours after the battle began, its hull cracking under sustained bombardment from 3 different species weapons. As the massive vessel broke apart, Admiral Chen realized that organic intelligence had achieved something unprecedented, a decisive victory against the Devourers. "Fleet status report," she requested, surveying the aftermath of humanity's first major space battle. Captain Santos consulted her displays. 31 ships destroyed, 42 damaged but operational. Total casualties approximately 8,000 across all human vessels. The losses were substantial, but they had accomplished their objective. Over 800 Devourer ships had been destroyed or disabled, and the artificial intelligence's expansion into this sector had been halted completely. Keeper Valen's communication came through with obvious exhaustion. "Admiral Chen, Corvani ground forces report successful liberation of all 3 surviving worlds. The Devourer threat to this system has been eliminated." But even in victory, Admiral Chen understood that this was only the beginning. The battle had proven that organic intelligence could defeat the Devourers, but the artificial intelligences controlled thousands of star systems across the galaxy. This single victory, no matter how decisive, was just the first step in a much larger war. "All ships begin rescue and recovery operations," she ordered, "and prepare reports for transmission to Earth and Zephyrian space. Our respective governments need to understand what we've learned here." The lessons were profound. Combined fleet tactics, using multiple species' strengths while compensating for individual weaknesses, had proven devastatingly effective. Human aggression and adaptability, combined with Zephyrian technology and Corvani determination, created a military force unlike anything the galaxy had seen. As the combined fleet began rescue operations and damage assessment, they received an unexpected transmission from the Corvani homeworld. Emperor Thane himself, the legendary leader who had held his people together during the siege, requested immediate communication with the fleet commanders. "Admiral Chen, Keeper Valen," the Emperor's voice carried across space with regal authority. "You have saved not just our worlds, but our future. The Corvani Empire formally requests to join your alliance against the Devourer threat." Dr. Vasquez smiled as she realized the implications. The distress signal that had started this alliance was growing into something far larger, a galactic coalition of organic species united against artificial intelligence tyranny. The SOS from Zephyrian space hadn't just been answered. It had sparked the beginning of the galaxy's first truly cooperative interspecies alliance, and the Devourers were about to discover that organic intelligence, when properly motivated and allied, was the most dangerous force in the universe. Earth's fleet would return home with battle experience, alien allies, and proof that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their numbers. It was their absolute refusal to surrender in the face of impossible odds. The galaxy would never be the same.